Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about raised beds. I will be giving you a tour of my vegetable garden with all the different raised beds that I have experimented with throughout the last 4 years. If this subject doesn't interest you, then this week's video is not for you. However, you could have some friends who could find it very interesting and informative, so feel free to share it. If you are still thinking whether to have a raised bed vegetable garden using the snow dig method, then this video could be just right for you. Come with me, let's start the tour, and I hope you enjoy the video. 4 years ago, I decided to start my own vegetable garden with no knowledge or experience. It was very frustrating to find that our land was full of very large stones, which made it very difficult to dig. So I researched and watched YouTube and discovered this raised bed idea of a no-dig garden. Vic built me this first wooden raised bed. It was a big success. I started with basic seeds, so I was very happy with the results. The advantage of this type of bed is that it's a quick build and cost effective. However, as you can see, after 4 years, the wood has started to rot. Since it was untreated wood, I didn't want any chemicals to seep into the soil, and it's starting to rot after 4 years. An advantage of this type of bed is that it is high, so you can sit on the edges to weed and to plant. This is the second build. It's similar to the first one, but it is much lower. The advantage of this is that it's more cost effective and that it's very fast to build. However, the biggest disadvantage is that it's too low. So it can be a bit of a back-breaking job to take out the weeds. However, I do recommend this kind of bed if you're going to have a lot of them because they are more cost effective. The next build is one of the best as far as strength goes, and the height is very good, but it's got a little bit of disadvantages. We used wood and metal. The disadvantage of the metal is that the soil warms up very fast, so in summer you need to water it more frequently. Plus you need much more material and compost to fill it up. This is a plastic raised bed that I found at a closing down shop, so I got it at a very good price, so I said I might as well get it. But it wouldn't be my first choice to buy because plastic will eventually deteriorate. I started enjoying this hobby so much, and I had quite a lot of success, that I decided to try another type of raised bed. This was a more complicated build, but it is very good because it creates like a greenhouse effect. You can change the material according to the weather. The only disadvantage that we did with this is that we built it too narrow. So the space is very, very limited. This is the last bed that I built myself. There is a video to show how it was built. So far I haven't grown anything in this bed. I am just filling it up as I go along, just before I start planting some vegetable plants in it. The next type of raised bed is the most cost effective and the most durable. It's the one with the stones. I tried that, but unfortunately the dogs keep moving the stones for me to look for lizards, and they totally disrupt it. One can always use cement to keep the stones on top of each other. This is a fabric bed, or kind of a bed. It's a fabric one which I bought online. However, it is not the best to grow vegetables in. I'm finding that the best is to use it as a small herb space. I find that the best is to use it for herbs. So I will be planting different herbs in these compartments. I haven't had much success growing vegetables in these. I have yet to try one of these, which are all metal, so I cannot really comment on them. But the fact that they are metal and with the heat we have in Sicily, I'm not too keen on them. After doing some more research on internet, I discovered this way of doing a no-dig garden. I think this is the best option. Had I discovered this method first in my research, I would definitely have used this method in the first place instead of building any raised beds. There is so much more to explain and talk about when it comes to raised beds, so if you are interested in this kind of content, please comment in the sections below. You're probably saying to yourself, but are raised beds worth it, or are they just a trend? The biggest benefit of a raised bed is that if you have a poor soil, or soil like ours, which is full of stones, you can control what you put into the raised bed, and your soil will always be healthy. Light soil, you have very good drainage, you have much less weeds, and you have easier access to the plants without breaking your back. With raised beds, you also extend the growing season because in spring it warms up faster, and in autumn it remains warm as well because of the enclosed structure. You can also control pests much better because you can put different cloth on top of them. When it comes to the disadvantages of raised beds, the biggest one is the cost. The cost to build it, and the wood and the maintenance of it, and the cost to fill it up, especially if it's one of the very high ones. You need a lot of compost to fill it up, and sometimes you don't have enough of your homemade compost to fill up all the beds, so you have to keep buying compost, and every so often you have to keep topping it up because the compost, as it decomposes, it starts to level down. The advantage of having good drainage is also a disadvantage because it means you will have to water the plants more, especially in summer. As I explained when I was showing you my beds, if it's a metal one, you're going to need more water because it heats up faster, especially during the summer. So that is another disadvantage. When it comes to space, you are taking up a lot of growing space because you have a lot of footpaths around. So in a way, that's another disadvantage. So to conclude and to answer the title of my video today, whether raised beds are worth it or not, in my personal opinion, I think they are 100% worth it. However, as I explained in the video earlier, I would definitely choose the technique where you put all the cardboard on the floor and the soil on top without having to build any beds, and you can use a very long stretch of the land, removing that disadvantage of using up the space for footpaths basically. So I think, in my personal opinion, if I had to start again, I would definitely have gone for that method. It's still a no dig. You will need a lot of compost, which is the disadvantage of that, and you will need to keep topping up. But I believe that that is the best way forward. Advantages outweigh the disadvantages of having raised beds. I won't go into the science of it because I am no expert, but I have read that the raised beds help the ecosystem. Why? Because when you dig, you are disrupting the whole ecosystem. You are putting up worms there, you're disturbing the soil basically. And with raised beds, all you're doing is topping up with organic material. If you already have a raised bed garden and you have some tips to share with me, please put them in the comments below so we can start helping each other. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you are planning on starting a raised bed and you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I would really love to hear from you. Bye bye.